Hello YouTube, it's Rob from Maxwells Grass Cutting Services based in the northeast of England. I hope everybody's well and having a really good day. Today it's a dry day in the northeast, although it's cold. Ground's not bad, it's drying out a little bit, but still not perfect. But there you go. Today's video, Saltex 2023. I went down and I travelled down on the train on the Tuesday, spent a couple of nights in the Premier Inn just nearby, and then got the train back on Thursday morning. Was it worth it? No, waste of time. Absolute waste of time. Apart from the people I met. Okay, I met some wonderful people and I'll come on to them in a moment. But Saltex, people talk about it as the Mecca for gardeners. And I thought, I can't wait to get there. And I arrived there 10 o'clock on the Wednesday morning. You walk into the NEC. You've got a Wetherspoons within the NEC on the left. You turn right. You walk into this big hall and there's trade stands everywhere. So I went round and had a look. And I thought, where's Honda? Where's Still? Not there. Unbelievable. I naively thought you'd have the Honda section where you'd have all the Honda Izzies, 16-inch, 19-inch, 20-inch, 21-inch. Then you'd have the HRX, then you'd have the HRD. You'd be able to pick them all up, have a little move around with them and sort of work out, you know, what is the best mower for you within the range. I thought you could go to Still, pick up the, is it the BG86 handheld blower? With the AP 200 battery, 300 battery, 300S, feel the weight of them, see how powerful the machine was, have a look at the new battery strimmers, see what battery goes in best for balance of it. Not there. Not there. Couldn't believe it. Spent an hour walking around and got back to the start and I thought, is that it? There must be something else. It must be upstairs or another section. And it was dead. It did get busier later on, but at that point I could have walked home. I mean, I could have just went home. Dead disappointed. So I had another look round. And then I went and had a look at the WeBang store, sort of trade. Best one of the day. The only person who seemed interested in his products and people there was the chap who was on the WeBang stand. Showed us all the mowers, explained the difference between shaft driven, belt driven, sizes, weights, let you have a little play around. Honestly, brilliant. Thank you very much, because the rest of them weren't interested. I went, when you register with Saltex, you get an email and they tell you some of the trade stands that are going to go. And there's one trade stand I was really looking forward to, and it's a weed and feed fertilizer company. I won't mention them because I won't be using them again. And I've bought products from this company before, via their website, and they've delivered to me door. And I went and chap sat there, not interested. And you've got a little badge on here, you know. And mine said, Maxwell's Rob Gardener. And I think he read it and thought, I'm not bothered. Maybe he might have been interested if it had Rob, head greenkeeper, Slaley Hall or something like that, I don't know. But I asked him, I said, I do weed and feed 3 times a year. What would be the best product for April, for the spring, then the summer? And he just said, there's a catalogue, and sat down, started eating his sandwich. So I threw the catalogue back and walked off. I thought, I'll never use your company again. And I thought, if I was your boss paying all this money for, I don't know how much they charge, but you know, it won't be free, will it? And I just thought you weren't interested. Absolute terrible. But the positive side of it was the people I met. Got there on the Wednesday night and Tuesday night, my apologies. And I'm sat in the Premier Inn having a beer by myself. And 2 lads travelled down from Coventry, George and his dad. Now, by this time, I'd had a couple of sherbets. And they joined us. We had a few more. So if I've got your names wrong, I do apologise, right? But put it in the comments. It's a father and son team. They operate out of Coventry. And they came down and we had a good couple of hours. Few sherbets, and we're a great company, made me laugh, and we put the world to rights. So thanks very much for making the effort to come down and see us, and really enjoyed your company. Next day I'm walking around and I see Steve from Lichfield. Hello Steve. I was looking at the Cobra mowers, and I tell you what, at the end of the video I'm going to tell you what I learned, and it was a wise sort of lesson about Saltex. What did it teach me? And it did teach me something, and this is it. I'll tell you at the end. So I'm looking at the Cobras, And I looked at one of these mowers last year, a rear roller 21-inch. The weight of them, and it's like the wee bangs, they're big, heavy as well. And I thought, there's no way I want to be humping that in and out. Anyway, this chap, bit heavy for you that, Robbie. I turned around and it was Steve from Lichfield. And Steve went, I follow your channel, and we sat and we could have chatted all day. And he said, I watch your videos and some of the stories you tell me. He says, I made that mistake 20 years ago. I made that mistake. And he said, it makes me laugh. And he gave me his sort of rundown on what his take about running a gardening business, the highs, the lows, the success, and brilliant. And I'll make some videos from his wise wisdom, if you like, and taught me a great deal. Thank you. Lovely to speak to you. And then Gary, my mate from Funked Up Productions. Gary's a gardener in the northwest of England. We met at 1 o'clock, and lovely to see you, Gary. We had a look around Saltex together, and then we went into Weatherspoons and enjoyed a few Guinnesses. Lovely. And that's where we met Robbie from Premier Lawns. Larger than life character, lovely fella. Hello, Robbie. Thanks for all your kindness. Enjoyed meeting you. And that was Saltex for me, the people I met, you know, and I met people sort of at the bar, said hello, and they're going, oh, you're Robbie. And I'm a bit embarrassed by it all. And then people while you're going around saying hello, and it was lovely. It was lovely. The people were absolutely lovely. But the actual trade stands, for me, Saltex is more about if you're a big sort of grounds maintenance company, or if you look after football fields, or if, you know, if you're the greenkeeper at Slaley Hall, or the head sort of manager at Newcastle United, where you look after the grounds, you know, if you're the head groundsman, I don't think they call them greenkeepers, are they, who look after football pitches, but you know what I'm saying. And it was more about that. I sat and had half an hour on one of the lectures as well, and it wasn't, there was nothing aimed at sole traders, gardeners, apart from a few stands where they sold a few lawnmowers. And to be honest, most of the lawnmowers were battery lawnmowers. They were plugging that massively. They weren't plugging, for example, Hater. I'm not a fan of Hater, but I'd have liked to have seen the 41, the 46, sorry, the 41, the 48, and the 56 Pro next to one of those, so you can have a feeling. Nah, a couple of battery ones. Guy wasn't interested. There were no batteries in them. They were just mowers without batteries, and he didn't seem interested neither, to be honest. I don't know if he's having a bad day, but anyway, it was a disappointment. Saltex. It's not the Mecca that everybody thinks it is, in my humble opinion. But the people there I met were brilliant, and I'm humbled. Thank you. What did I learn then? I learned what not to buy. Okay, them heavy mowers. There's a wee bang, which is a 20-inch one, and it's coming out in next February, and it's got a Honda engine. It's 44 kilos. That was just on the border of acceptability, right? However, anything above that, nah, not for us. If you've got a big garden and you're there all day, you've got an acre or whatever, fine. But for sole traders, where we're doing multiple gardens, too heavy. And I found what not to buy was them heavy mowers. And I went around a few of the stands and picked them up. And the first thing I went was, whoa, how heavy. EGO, the battery equipment, I went to their stand. I weren't impressed, really. I thought it was a bit plasticky, and it just wasn't as well made as the Still products, even though I didn't see any there. Obviously, I've seen them historically. Would I go back? No. If you're in the northeast of England, no matter where you are in the UK, but let's take the northeast of England. If I wanted to go and do some research of decent gear, what would I do? I'd get in the van and I'd go up to Gustard's, which is just north of Newcastle, just off the A1, and they've got a shop where they do all the Still products, battery, petrol, Husqvarna, and the staff are fantastic, and they'll talk you through everything. I would go and have a couple of hours there. John, a friend of mine, gardener from north of the river, covers Ponteland and that area, he messaged me earlier on in the year and said Gustard's were having an opening day. I didn't go because I was so busy. Next year I'll make a a sort of a point of for freeing up some time and going and having a look. And what they said, they got all the battery gear out. They let you put the different batteries on and they have a go. And I thought Saltex would do that. They didn't. They're disappointing. So I would go up to Gustard's, then I would get back in the van after having a cup of tea. They've got a lovely cafe just around the corner there, and I drive up to Scott's Gap at Morpeth, and there's a place called Robson and Cowan. It's an old traditional garden centre, machine shop on a farm, and they've got Honda, they've got all the Hondas, they've got Stihl, they've got Husqvarna, they've got so many hand tools as well. You can't come out there without spending a few quid. It's like going back in time. The staff are brilliant. And then from there I'd gone to Hexham, and I'd go to a garden centre called Down to Earth. They've got a wonderful array of plants and shrubs. You learn a lot by going around having a look at them. They've got some beautiful equipment in there, gardening equipment. They've got all the wolf garden stuff. They've got hand tools, and that's what I would do. 3 shops like that in a day and go and have a look if you want to know about equipment. And I'm sure where you are in your part of the world, you've got them type of shops and go around. I just thought, Saltex, you know, it was a lot of money. What was it, 100 quid on the train there and back, 280 quid 2 nights bed and breakfast in the Premier Inn, a few Ubers, you know, to get where you want to be, and a little bit of refreshments and a couple of meals. I don't think I got much change out of 500 quid, and did I get my money's worth? No, apart from meeting some lovely people. But for me, Saltex, huge disappointment. I won't be going again. If you live local, I understand. You jump in your car, I don't know, an hour's drive, have the day there, have a wander around, cup of tea, beer in Wetherspoons, bit of a meal, go home. I get that. But for somebody who has to travel 4 hours on the train, 4 hours back, nights accommodation, and next year it's being held the last week in October. So you're also, if you're travelling like me, you need to lose 3 days work. So you've got the expense of going, plus the expense of 3 days lost earnings. It's just not financially viable. And there wasn't the trade stands that I thought there was. Maybe I was just expecting a little bit too much. And it just, we've all got a thought process of what we think we're going to see, and then what our expectations are, and we get there and it was just totally different. But there you go. I've been, I don't regret it, because I met some lovely people, and yeah, it was an experience, but it won't be happening again, not on my watch. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching. We've come to the end of the grass cutting season now, and it's been an absolute drab end. The weather's sort of been horrific up in the northeast, and it hasn't been pleasant the last couple of weeks for me, but that's life in a green suit, as they say, as a gardener, self-employed gardener. I've got loads of content coming out now. I've got a little bit more time on my hand. I've got some fantastic ideas for the channel, which I'm going to share with you in future videos, and I'm really looking forward to that. But thanks very much. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for all everybody who subscribes and presses the like button. It helps grow the channel, and I appreciate that. And thanks for everybody who leaves a message or leaves a comment. I always get back to you. It might take me a day or two, but I always get there in the end, and I love the engagement. Thanks very much. I'm learning, you're learning, we're all learning, aren't we? But take care, and remember, when the green gold's growing, keep mowing. All the best now.